Chapter 1 Awakening. In the year 2320, the human race had finally settled on Mars. The colony of Icarus I stood as a beacon of hope for humanity's future in the red planet's harsh environment. It was a sprawling metropolis with towering skyscrapers made from advanced, biodegradable materials that blended seamlessly into the crimson landscape. On one foggy morning in the year 2320, a small boy named Eric stirred awake to the sound of his mother's voice through their smart mattress. "It's time to wake up, my little scientist," she cooed. Eric stretched his arms and opened his eyes to a new day, looking at the world through his window. Mars below, with its swirling orange dust storms and patches of green where life-sustaining farms thrived. Today was the first day of summer break at Icarus I High School. He yawned widely and got up from his bed. "Coming, Mom," he replied, heading towards the kitchen. His mother handed him a slice of toast with a generous amount of jam. "Have fun today. You know where to go if you need me." "Will do, Mama," Eric replied, heading out to the school bus. Asked Chapter, the school crew too, the schoolyard. As he boarded the bus and settled into his seat, Eric couldn't help but feel a strange thrill coursing through him. This was going to be his first day of summer break, and the excitement had already begun building inside him. The bus rumbled down the road, weaving through the narrow streets of Icarus I. The boy watched out the window at the city, its pulsating energy filling him with a sense of belonging. He felt grateful to be here, surrounded by people who shared his love for Mars and all that it stood for. As they reached the school, Eric's mind started racing with thoughts of the summer experiments he could do. There were so many fascinating things he could learn about the red planet. Maybe today he would finally find something truly groundbreaking. Chapter 3. The Science Lab. Eric arrived at his science lab on time and found his mentor, Professor Elara Miles, already waiting for him. "Good morning, Eric. Did you manage to get everything ready for today's experiments?" she asked with a smile. "Ari, what are you doing here?" Her voice sounded urgent. "You're not allowed here." Eric turned around to see his mother standing behind Professor Miles. Her face was pale, and she looked like she had been through a storm. "I don't understand," Eric stammered. "I just got back from school. Your father is in trouble," his mother exclaimed, her eyes watering. "He's gone missing." Chapter 4. The search for answers. Eric's heart raced as he tried to comprehend what his mother was saying. His father, the famous Mars scientist John Eric, had always been absent. He would disappear for weeks at a time, leaving behind cryptic messages and journals. "Where is Dad?" Eric demanded, tears welling up in his eyes. "I don't know," his mother said, her voice trembling. "I was just on my way home from the lab when I saw him." Eric felt a cold chill run down his spine. What had happened to his father? Was he in trouble? Chapter 5. The Journey. Without another word, Eric's mother led him out of the school and onto the bustling streets of Icarus I. He didn't know what was waiting for him, but one thing was clear: he had to find his father. As they made their way through the city, a group of soldiers appeared out of nowhere, blocking their path. "Who are you?" one of them demanded. "I'm looking for my dad," Eric replied. "My name is Eric." The soldier's eyes narrowed. "We're on a mission to secure the colony. You're not part of this." Eric didn't have time to argue. He had to find his father, no matter what it took. With determination burning in his heart, he pushed past the soldiers and into the chaos that surrounded them. Chapter 6. The abandoned rocket has turned into days as Eric searched tirelessly for any trace of his father. He visited every lab, spoke with every scientist he could find, but there was no sign of John Eric. Desperate for answers, Eric stumbled upon an abandoned rocket ship in a nearby sector. It was a relic from the early days of Mars colonization, one of the first ships to venture beyond Icarus I's protective dome. Eric climbed inside the cockpit and started the engines. As the rocket lifted off, he felt a mix of terror and hope. If his father was on this ship, there was a chance he might find him here. Chapter 7. The Red Planet. Days turned into weeks as Eric explored the depths of the Red Planet. He searched every nook and cranny of the Martian landscape, hoping to find any sign of his father. One day, as he flew over a large plateau, a faint signal caught his attention. It was coming from a small outpost on the edge of the plateau. Arik approached cautiously, landing his rocket ship next to the outpost. As he stepped out, he saw the outline of a familiar figure huddled in the corner. "John?" Arik gasped as he ran over to him. "Is that you?" Arik looked up, relief etched on his face. "Arik, what are you doing here? How did you find me?" Arik explained how he had been searching for his father and ended up in space by accident. He showed John the recordings from his experiments, proving that their research was on track. "I'm so glad to see you safe," John said, hugging his son tightly. "But what's going on with the colony? Is it really under threat?" Arik shook his head. "I don't know, Dad. The soldiers came out of nowhere, wasn't expecting them. And I wasn't at chapter expecting them." The revelation, as they continued their investigation, Arik learned that a group of rogue scientists had hijacked a research station deep within the colony, planning to use the city's resources for their own gains. "Who are these people?" John demanded. "And why would they do this?" Arik shook his head again. "I don't know, Dad. But we have to stop them before it's too late." John nodded determinedly. "Let's formulate a plan and take them down one by one." But as they planned their next move, Arik couldn't help but feel proud of his father. Despite all the challenges he faced, John had always been resourceful and resilient. Chapter 9 Crew, the final stand. With his father's guidance, Arik led a small team of soldiers into the heart of the rogue scientist base. The battle was fierce, with both sides fighting for control of Icarus 1. As the final shots were fired, Arik stood next to John, watching as the rogue scientists retreated, defeated. "Mission accomplished," John said with a grin. Arik wrapped his arms around his father, feeling a sense of relief and satisfaction wash over him. "Thank you, Dad, for everything." John smiled down at his son. "Anytime, Arik. I'm proud of you." Chapter 10 Grew. The new beginning. With the rogue scientists defeated, Arik knew that their colony was safe once more. He promised to finish what his father started, continuing their research and making Mars a true home for humanity. As he stood on the balcony of their new living quarters, looking out at the stunning view of the red planet below, Arik felt a sense of purpose and excitement. "This is just the beginning," he thought to himself. "Mars awaits us, and we're ready to take it." And so, with his father by his side, Arik embarked on a new chapter in the history of humanity's journey to Mars. Together, they would continue to push the boundaries of what was possible and make the red planet their own. See Chapter 11, The Discovery. Over the next few months, Arik and his father continued their groundbreaking research on Icarus 1. Their findings were nothing short of revolutionary, pushing the frontiers of science and technology further than anyone had dared imagine. One day, as they worked in the lab, a sudden energy surge rocked the entire facility. The lights flickered, and the air grew thick with static electricity. Arik immediately knew something was wrong. "Everyone out!" John shouted over the hum of machinery. "Get to the safety zones." Arik and his father rushed out of the lab, following the evacuation protocol. They made their way through the bustling streets of Icarus 1, dodging soldiers and civilians alike as they tried to reach one of the colony's safety domes. As they approached a large dome in the center of the city, Arik noticed something strange. A group of scientists was arguing with each other, their faces twisted in anger and confusion. "What's going on?" John demanded, rounding up the scientists. "We've detected an anomaly," one scientist replied, her voice trembling. "A massive energy source that's not of this planet, Tot." "An energy source?" Arik echoed, his mind racing. "Could it be?" "I think it is," another scientist added, looking at John with a mixture of fear and determination. "I've been studying this phenomenon for years. It's the source of advanced technology, an ancient civilization that left their mark on Mars." Sensen Chapter 12. The ancient civilization. As Arik listened to the scientist's revelation, he couldn't help but feel a thrill of excitement mixed with dread. This was it. the moment humanity had been waiting for. Contact with an alien civilization. John nodded in agreement. We need to investigate this anomaly. Find out where they came from and what secrets they left behind. The team immediately set to work, gathering samples and data from the energy source. They spent hours analyzing the strange readings on their equipment, trying to understand just how advanced this ancient civilization had been. As the days passed, Arik and his father discovered that the energy source was not just a power plant, but a gateway to an entire network of underground cities hidden deep within Mars. These cities were filled with advanced technology that could revolutionize human science and industry. Chapter 13. The Gateway. With the help of the ancient civilization's technology, Arik and his father built a small spacecraft capable of navigating through the underground tunnels of Mars. It was a daunting task, but they were determined to see what lay beyond the surface. On the day they took off, Arik felt an overwhelming sense of adventure mixed with trepidation. What if something went wrong? Would they survive? As the spacecraft descended into the depths of Mars, Arik gazed out at the alien landscape below. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The walls of the underground cities were carved from solid rock, lit by an ethereal light that seemed to glow from within. Chapter 14. The Cities of the Ancients. The spacecraft landed with a jolt, and Arik stepped out into the dimly lit streets of the ancient city. It was silent, except for the occasional beep of machinery and the faint whispers of the past. As they explored the city, they found that the ancients had left behind not just technology but also artifacts and books filled with knowledge from a time long forgotten. Arik read about their great civilization, how they had mastered every aspect of life, how they had preserved their culture for generations. Whoa, this is incredible, Arik exclaimed, gazing up at the towering structures that dominated the skyline. John nodded in agreement. We have to preserve this knowledge. We can learn so much from these people. Chapter 15. The Return. As they explored more of the ancient cities, Arik and John grew closer. They shared their findings, exchanging ideas and pushing each other to explore further. With every discovery, they felt a deeper sense of responsibility. One day, as they were leaving one of the cities, they encountered a group of soldiers. We're not supposed to be here. One of them growled, drawing his weapon. Arik stepped forward, holding up his hands. We have no intention of taking anything, he said calmly. We just want to learn from these people. The soldiers hesitated for a moment, then stepped aside. Arik and John made their way out of the city, feeling a sense of triumph. Look at what we've found, Arik said, gazing up at the stars. Our journey has led us to an incredible discovery. The universe is full of mysteries, and we have only begun to explore. See Chapter 16. The Future. As they returned to Icarus I with their new knowledge and technology, Arik and John knew that humanity's future was brighter than ever before. Their research continued at breakneck speed, with the ancient civilization's technology leading them to new breakthroughs in energy production, medicine, and space travel. They built new cities on Mars, filled with wonders beyond imagination. Arik became a famous figure around the world, celebrated for his role in unlocking the secrets of an alien civilization. But he never forgot where it all began. On that fateful day when he discovered the red planet Inu. As Icarus I continued to thrive and grow, Arik knew that there was still so much to explore. There were other worlds waiting to be discovered, other civilizations yet to meet, and he was ready for whatever adventures lay ahead. Chapter 17. The Cosmic Exodus. Years passed as Arik and John continued their groundbreaking research and colonization efforts on Mars. They built new cities, developed advanced technologies, and expanded the human presence throughout the red planet. But as they looked up at the stars, they couldn't help but wonder about what lay beyond Icarus I. One day, while examining data from a distant star system, Arik noticed something that made his heart race. It was a signal, a message sent out by an advanced civilization on another world. The message contained coordinates to their home planet. "Mummy, Dad," Arik shouted into the air, excitement coursing through him. "We've found another alien civilization." John looked up from his work, a look of pure awe on his face. "Arik, this is incredible. We've finally made contact with another intelligent species." The two of them sat in silence for a moment, their minds racing with possibilities. What would it be like to meet the people who had sent this message? Could they learn even more from them? Sex Chapter 8, The Journey to Another World. With great anticipation, Eric and John began planning the journey to the home planet of the unknown civilization. They needed to prepare their spacecraft for a long voyage across the vastness of space. As the weeks passed, Eric helped his father finalize every detail, ensuring that the ship was ready for any kind of journey. He spent countless hours studying maps and diagrams, trying to anticipate what they might find when they arrived at their destination. Chapter 1990, The Arrival. Finally, the day of the departure arrived. The spacecraft left Icarus 1 with a wave of goodbyes from millions of people. Eric and John felt both nervous and excited as they set off on this historic mission. As they traveled through space, they encountered countless obstacles. Black holes, supernova, and even other ships that had ventured into the same region. But Eric remained focused, keeping his eye on the star system at the coordinates sent by the unknown civilization. After months of travel, they finally arrived in the system. The sight before them was breathtaking. The home planet of the advanced civilization was unlike anything Eric had ever seen before. It was a massive world, covered with lush forests, sparkling oceans, and towering cities made of transparent materials that glistened in the sunlight. As they descended into orbit, Eric couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. At Chapter 20, The First Meeting. Ari and John made their way down to the surface of the planet, landing next to a floating city that hovered above the landscape. It was filled with people from all walks of life, scientists, explorers, and curious individuals who had been invited to meet the advanced civilization. As they stepped out of their spacecraft, Eric felt a sense of disbelief wash over him. The beings before him were unlike anything he had ever seen, a race of towering beings with blue skin and hair that shimmered like stars. "Welcome," one of the beings said, extending a hand toward them. "We are known as the Lucidians." John shook hands with the Lucidian, a smile on his face. "A pleasure to meet you. We come from Icarus 1, Mars colony." The Lucidians welcomed them warmly, taking them to their palace for a grand audience with their leader, Zephyrian. As they sat in the audience chamber, surrounded by the beautiful architecture and advanced technology of the Lucidian society, Eric felt a sense of unity. Despite the differences between their worlds, he knew that they were all part of the human race, united by a shared desire to explore and understand the universe. Chapter 21. The Revelation. During their audience with Zephyrian, Eric was given a shocking revelation. His own father had been one of the explorers who had journeyed to the Lucidian world years ago. He had come back from that mission, but no one knew where he went after that. John told Eric the story of how his father had fallen in love with a Lucidian woman and made the choice to leave Icarus 1 to be with her. Despite the dangers of traveling through space, they had both known it was their destiny to return to each other. As Zephyrian listened to John's story, tears streamed down his face. He recognized Eric from the footage that had been sent back to him years ago when Eric was just a baby. The Lucidians had tried so hard to find him, but he had always remained on Icarus 1. "Thank you for bringing him home," Zephyrian said, his voice choked with emotion. We are grateful for your presence here." Text Chapter 23. The Legacy. Eric and John were given a hero's welcome by the Lucidians. They spent weeks living in their palace, learning about the Lucidian culture, and sharing stories of their own world. During this time, Arik had many moments of reflection. He realized that his journey to the Lucidian world had not been just about discovering a new civilization, but also about finding himself and reconnecting with his past. As they prepared to return to Icarus 1, Eric felt a sense of gratitude for every moment he had shared with John and the Lucidians. He knew that this experience would stay with him forever, a reminder that the universe is full of wonder and mystery, and that no matter where our journeys take us, we are always part of something greater. Thus, Chapter 23, the return. On the day they set off for Icarus I, Arik said goodbye to his new friends on the Lucidian world. He hugged Zephyrian tightly, promising to visit them soon. As the spacecraft soared through space, Arik couldn't help but feel a sense of peace. He knew that he would return to Icarus I, the newfound perspective on life and what it means to be human. Seeds, Chapter 24, the new dawn. When they arrived back at Icarus I, the colony was thriving. It had expanded into new frontiers, filled with people from all corners of the galaxy. Arik felt proud to be part of this new era of humanity, a time when we were truly beginning to explore and understand the universe. He visited his father, who greeted him with tears in his eyes. They embraced, sharing stories of their journeys and what they had learned along the way. As the sun set over Icarus I, Arik knew that there was still so much to discover, and he was ready for whatever adventures lay ahead. Together, he and John continued to push the boundaries of science and exploration, inspiring generations to come to reach for the stars. Chapter 25. The Galactic Federation years went by as Arik and John continued their groundbreaking work on Icarus I. Their research had not only expanded our understanding of the universe, but also led to the formation of the Galactic Federation, a coalition of worlds working together for peace, exploration, and progress. Arik became a prominent figure within the Federation, known for his role in uncovering the secrets of the Lucidian civilization and inspiring countless individuals around the galaxy to pursue their own dreams. His fame grew beyond Icarus I, with people from distant planets seeking out his guidance and expertise. In Chapter 26, the discovery of new worlds. As the Galactic Federation continued its efforts to explore new worlds, Arik led a team on a mission to one of the furthest corners of space, the Kynan system. The system was known for its exotic flora and fauna, but it had also been rumored to be home to an ancient artifact with unimaginable power. The journey took months as the spacecraft navigated through the vast void of space. Arik's team faced numerous challenges along the way. Black holes, asteroid fields, and even a nearby supernova that threatened to engulf their ship. But they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that there was something special waiting for them in the Kynan system. Chapter 27. The Artifact. After months of travel, Arik's team finally arrived at the Kynan system. They descended into orbit and made their way to a large asteroid field. It was here that they discovered the artifact, a massive crystal embedded within an ancient temple. As they approached the temple, strange energy emanated from it, causing the air around them to shimmer with a bluish glow. Arik stepped forward, feeling a sense of excitement building up inside him. When he entered the temple, he found himself standing in front of a grand altar. On the altar lay the crystal artifact, pulsing with an otherworldly light. As Arik reached out to touch it, something strange happened. A rift opened in space-time, and they were transported through it into another universe. Chapter 28. The Parallel Universe. Arik found himself in a completely different reality, one that was parallel to our own but vastly different in every way. It was a world where gravity pulled you upward, and water flowed upwards against the force of gravity. The air was thick with an ethereal fog that seemed to glow faintly. As he explored this new universe, Arik couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder. He discovered entire cities built on the backs of floating islands, where people lived in perfect harmony with nature. He met beings from all walks of life, some advanced, some primitive, each with their own unique perspective on existence. Chapter 29. The Return. As Arik explored this new universe, he began to realize that our understanding of reality was limited. We might believe that we know everything about the universe, but there were still so many mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Eventually, Arik made the decision to return to his own world. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment from having traveled through this parallel universe and expanded our knowledge of what was possible. At Chapter 30, the final journey, with his heart full of memories and new insights into the nature of reality, Arik boarded the spacecraft and prepared for the long journey back to Icarus One. He knew that there would be more adventures ahead, more mysteries to explore, more discoveries to make. As they traveled through space, Arik looked out at the stars, feeling a sense of gratitude for every moment of his life. Whether he was exploring new worlds, facing incredible challenges, or simply enjoying the beauty of the universe, he knew that there was always something fascinating waiting around the corner. As Chapter 31, The Aftermath. When they arrived back at Icarus One, Arik was met with a hero's welcome. People from all over the colony came to see him, grateful for his bravery and his insights into other realities. They marveled at his stories of exploration and discovery, inspiring new generations to follow in his footsteps. Arik continued to work on Icarus One, dedicating himself to expanding our knowledge and furthering the goals of the Galactic Federation. He knew that there was still so much to explore. More worlds, more mysteries, more wonders waiting for us. As he looked out over the horizon, Arik felt a sense of peace. He had seen things that few people ever get to see. The beauty of other universes, the power of human ingenuity, and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Chapter 32 The newer years passed as Arik continued his work on Icarus One and the Galactic Federation. The colony grew stronger with each passing day, its people united by a shared vision of exploration and discovery. Arik himself became a symbol of hope and determination, inspiring countless individuals to chase their dreams. As he looked out at the stars, Arik knew that his journey had only just begun. There was still so much to explore, so many wonders waiting for us in the universe. And with every passing day, he felt more determined than ever to continue pushing the boundaries of what we know and what we can achieve. See Chapter 33 The Next Frontier. As Arik continued his work on Icarus One and the Galactic Federation, he began to focus on one particular area of research that had always fascinated him: the nature of consciousness and its relationship with reality. He believed that understanding these fundamental concepts could lead to breakthroughs in fields like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and even the exploration of other universes. Acts Chapter 34, The Dream Experiment. With this in mind, Arik designed an ambitious experiment. He would create a simulated environment where participants could explore their own minds and consciousness. By studying how individuals interacted with this virtual world, he hoped to gain insights into the workings of human perception and cognition. The experiment was conducted in a specially designed facility on Icarus One. Participants were equipped with advanced VR headsets that allowed them to fully immerse themselves in the simulated environment. They could walk around, explore, interact with other beings, and even influence events within the virtual world. To Chapter 35 The results. As the experiment progressed, Arik began to notice patterns and trends in the data. He observed how participants adapted to different scenarios, how they made decisions, and how their consciousnesses influenced their interactions with the environment. One of the most interesting discoveries was how participants could alter their perceptions within the virtual world. Some individuals could create entire new realities, while others could manipulate the laws of physics or alter their own memories. "Wow," Arik exclaimed to his team one day. "It seems that human consciousness has incredible powers beyond our understanding." John, who had been working on similar projects in the background, nodded in agreement. "I've always believed that our minds have the potential to do great things, but seeing it happen in a controlled environment is incredible." Chapter 36 The Implications. The results of the dream experiment had far-reaching implications for science and technology. Arik's research suggested that our consciousness could be harnessed and manipulated in ways we never thought possible. This could lead to breakthroughs in fields like medicine, where scientists could use advanced AI to better understand the human mind. But there were also ethical considerations. If humans could manipulate their own thoughts and perceptions, could it lead to addiction or even mental instability? Arik and his team spent countless hours debating these questions, striving to find the right balance between it and responsibility. Season Chapter 37 Tree. The Grand Experimentee. As they continued their research, Arik began to consider a larger experiment. He envisioned creating an entire virtual universe where participants could explore and interact with each other in real time. This would allow them to experience the richness of human interaction on a scale never before possible. The grand experiment was more ambitious than any previous project. It required building an entire simulated environment that could support millions of simultaneous users. Arik and his team worked tirelessly to design and build this system, spending months perfecting every aspect of the simulation. Say Chapter 38. The launch. Finally, after countless hours of work, the grand experiment was ready for launch. Participants were selected from around the Galactic Federation, each with a unique background and perspective. As the virtual universe came online, participants found themselves transported into a world unlike any they had ever seen. They explored vast landscapes, interacted with other beings, and even discovered new phenomena that had never been encountered before. SCIFI Chapter 39 Day. The first encounter among the participants was a young woman named Maya, who had come from a planet known for its peaceful societies. As she wandered through one of the simulated cities, she found herself drawn to an ancient temple hidden within a mountain range. As she approached the temple, strange energy emanated from it, causing the air around her to shimmer with a faint glow. She stepped forward, feeling a sense of unease creeping up on her. What was this place? So Chapter 40. The Revelation. As Maya entered the temple, she found herself standing before an altar. On the altar lay a crystal artifact, pulsing with an otherworldly light. As she reached out to touch it, something strange happened. A rift opened in space-time, and she was transported through it into another universe. Chapter 41. The Parallel Universe. Maya found herself in a completely different reality. One that was parallel to our own but vastly different in every way. It was a world where gravity pulled you upward, and water flowed upwards against the force of gravity. The air was thick with an ethereal fog that seemed to glow faintly. As Maya explored this new universe, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder. She met beings from all walks of life, some advanced, some primitive, each with their own unique perspective on existence. Chapter 42. The Return. Maya made the decision to return to her own world. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment from having traveled through this parallel universe and expanded our knowledge of what was possible. Chapter 43 Tree. The Galactic Federation Response. The results of Maya's journey were met with shock and excitement throughout the Galactic Federation. Participants in the grand experiment shared their experiences, each with a unique perspective on the new realities they had encountered. Arik and his team analyzed the data from these simulations, searching for patterns and trends that could help us better understand the nature of consciousness and its relationship with reality. See Chapter 44. The future of science continued to advance at an unprecedented rate. Arik knew that there was still so much left to discover. The universe was vast and full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. He believed that by continuing our quest for knowledge, we could push the boundaries of what we know and create a brighter future for humanity. Chapter 45. The Legacy. Years went by as Arik continued his work on Icarus I and the Galactic Federation. His research had not only expanded our understanding of the universe, but also led to new breakthroughs in fields like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and even the exploration of other universes. Arik became a symbol of hope and determination, inspiring countless individuals to chase their dreams. He knew that there was still so much to explore. More worlds, more mysteries, more wonders waiting for us. As he looked out at the stars, Arik felt a sense of peace. He had seen things that few people ever get to see: the beauty of other universes, the power of human ingenuity, and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Chapter 46. The Aftermath. When they arrived back at Icarus I, Arik was met with a hero's welcome. People from all over the colony came to see him, grateful for his bravery and his insights into other realities. They marveled at his stories of exploration and discovery, inspiring new generations to follow in his footsteps. Arik continued to work on Icarus One, dedicating himself to expanding our knowledge and furthering the goals of the Galactic Federation. He knew that there was still so much to explore. More worlds, more mysteries, more wonders waiting for us. As he looked out over the horizon, Arik felt a sense of peace. He had seen things that few people ever get to see. The beauty of other universes, the power of human ingenuity, and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Chapter 47. The New RR. Years passed as Arik continued his work on Icarus One and the Galactic Federation. The colony grew stronger with each passing day, its people united by a shared vision of exploration and discovery. Arik himself became a symbol of hope and determination, inspiring countless individuals to chase their dreams. As he looked out at the stars, Arik knew that his journey had only just begun. There was still so much to explore. More worlds, more mysteries, more wonders waiting for us in the universe. And with every passing day, he felt more determined than ever to continue pushing the boundaries of what we know and what we can achieve.